I finished Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and this is my spoiler-free review because I finished this book at 4 AM last night, and I haven't processed it enough to make a spoiler-filled review yet. But this book was everything I ever wanted from anything ever. Like, there is a reference I'm going to hit you with, and I don't know if any of you are going to get it, but you know the very first Percy Jackson film? You know when Percy first goes into the camp with all the Greek gods and stuff like that, and then they're having that, like, mock battle between the red team and the blue team? This gives me those kind of vibes, and that's something that I've been longing for within fantasy. I know this is a sci-fi book, but so many of you guys told me that this was sci-fi fantasy to a T, and you weren't wrong. This blends the genres perfectly. This is fantasy in a sci-fi setting, which I think might be my new favorite niche within reading. And because this is the second book I've read like that, because I have read Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruocchio, I know this isn't just a one-off. This is a theme. This is something that I enjoy, and that's really exciting to me. I do also love first books in a series. I'm a lover for first books. I'm also a lover for second books, but like, I will always just pick up a first book and read it and be blown away with it because you're new and exposed. You have no idea what's going on, but then you get that moment where you grasp it and you're like, okay, yeah, this is actually quite sick. One thing I said in my previous two videos about this, my 100-page review and my 200-page review, is that the writing was bold and completely different from everything else I've read in sci-fi fantasy, and that just continued throughout all the way to the end. Pierce Brown is blunt, he's ruthless, he's brutal, but like not necessarily in the way that R.F. Kuang does it, where like everything gets pain and everything gets hurt and you just kind of have to deal with it as a reader. He does it in a way that everything just is how it is, and that's such a unique writing style. It's not flowery, and it's not because Pierce Brown can't write flowery writing. He definitely can. Trust me, look at some of the romance scenes in here. They are flowery as shit. The reason that he hasn't written 90% of this book as flowery writing is because it's in a brutal landscape, so he decides he wants his writing to reflect that. And that's something that's really, really well done. There's so many times that fantasy authors get caught in the trap of setting a brutal apocalyptic world and then doing really flowery writing, describing everything in such beautiful ways. Pierce Brown decides my world building is harsh and ruthless, so my writing is going to be harsh and ruthless, so you can really appreciate it. There's no point me amazingly describing the whole landscape if all the characters want to do is survive and never look up to the sky anyway. What I'm worried about is the fact that I gave this 5 stars, and apparently this is the worst book out of 7. However, to be fair, my first book in a series is always like inflated in my star rating because I'm first exposed to the world, and I love that. I love just being dropped in a world I have no idea what's going on and having to figure it out myself. I love character development in the rest of the series. However, the first book is 99% of the time like one of my top 3 easily. That's in series that have more than 3 books, you know what I mean? But let me know, what did you guys think of Red Rising? Have you read it yet? If it's on your TBR, please, for the love of God, move it up. It's so, so good. I don't want to be one of those guys, like I said, but this book is genuinely going to be one of my recommendations of the year. Also, please don't drop any spoilers for the future books or for this book for anyone who hasn't read it. Make sure to like, make sure to follow, and happy goddamn reading.